Karen and I'm here today to show you how to make a lovely aubergine and tomato curry which will be served with rice and some lovely Indian flatbreads, which are all going to be made on my STOVES Richmond Deluxe range. Just in time for Vegetarian Week as well. This lovely vegetarian recipe is a real dine-in recipe, or what I would call a fake-away. So, you know, really why reach for the phone when you can make this curry, the rice and the flatbreads in under an hour. So here we have all the ingredients I'm going to use for my curry today. So we've got ground cumin and ground coriander, a tin of chopped tomatoes, some garam masala, madras curry powder, fresh garlic, fresh ginger, large onion, fresh coriander leaves, lime, lemon and fresh tomatoes. And I've used a combination of tomatoes because I had some small cherry tomatoes I wanted to use up. So they're normal, what I would call salad tomatoes or tomatoes on the vine, and cherry tomatoes. And then we've got two rather lovely plump aubergines here. And these are the ingredients that we're going to use for my aubergine and tomato curry. And you can just see in the background my rather lovely Richmond Deluxe STOVES range. We're going to be using the hob top today. So it's got 5 gas rings, 1 wok ring in the middle, and I've got a fantastic griddle on top as well. So we're going to be cooking the flatbreads on top of the griddle. I'll run you through some of the functions on my Richmond Deluxe STOVES, even the ones that I won't be using today. We have at the top here a rather nice roomy grill, the main oven, as you can see in here, and I absolutely love this feature. This is a tall oven on the right hand side where I can do multiple baking, but it's also split oven, so I could just bake on the top or bake on the bottom, or roast on the top or roast on the bottom, and it's a really fabulous function of this cooker. So on the top here we can see that we've got the rings on the top, and I chose champagne cream, and it's a lovely colour that actually goes in with the rest of my kitchen sort of decor. I'm really pleased with the range. I've had it now for about 6 or 7 months, just after we did the kitchen refit, and I think, as you can see, it just looks absolutely fabulous in the kitchen, as well as being very, very functional. So I put the onion and all of the fresh tomatoes into a cast iron pot. It's cooking on a low heat on top of the gas hob. I've also added the ginger, the garlic, the grated lime zest, and I'm just going to saute this with the lid on until it's soft and all the vegetables are cooked but haven't taken on too much colour. After about 5 minutes you should have a lovely sort of mélange of all the vegetables like this. So you keep the lid on whilst you're cooking it, and it goes beautiful and soft, cooked without any colour. So I'm now going to add all the spices. I'm going to cook those through. You might have heard the expression cooking the spices out or cooking the wine out. So it's basically to sort of make it sweet and to cook all the bitterness out of everything. So I'll leave this like this for about a minute. Just keep stirring all the spices in. Let them cook out, as we say. And we're then going to add some lime juice. So, juice of 1 lime. I actually will be adding a recipe card at the end of the video. And just let that simmer there for about a minute. I've turned the heat up now, and I've added the tinned tomatoes, and once the tin's empty, 1 full empty tomato tin of water. So I'll just stir this in. And then I'm now going to add the aubergines to the curry. It's starting to smell absolutely fabulous in the kitchen. And you might notice as well Then I also added in the limes that I'd actually squeezed the lime juice from. We'll actually take them out before we serve it, but it just adds that lovely piquancy to the curry. So just stir the aubergine in, and it's this stage that I'll also season it in a minute with some salt and pepper. And we're just going to pop the lid on and just let that simmer for 25 to 30 minutes until the aubergines are cooked, whilst we get on with the flatbreads and the rice. So I've got these lovely quick flatbreads here that I've made with yogurt and flour and salt, and I'm now just going to pop them on the griddle just over here. So to cook, there we are. I've heated it up already and I've put oil on there, and you can use both sides, the ridge side and the flat side. You have to just be careful as they're cooking that you've got the temperature right. I can see that there's all bubbles here, so I know that the fat has got to the right temperature. And after about 2 or 3 minutes, I'll lift them up and see how they're doing underneath. So I've got some wholemeal rice in here that I've actually cooked from the start. Just taken the lid off, and as you can see, it's just coming up to the right temperature. There's hardly any water left. I'll give you all of these recipes at the end of the video in my recipe post. I've decided to use wholemeal as I think it gives a nutty flavour, especially when you've got a vegetarian curry. It's just nice to have that extra texture and flavour in there. Okay, so these have been cooking for about 3 or 4 minutes on one side now, and I've just had a quick look. As you can see, they're cooking beautifully on here. I just sprayed it with some oil. We can get all sorts of different flavoured oils, and I actually used garlic oil today. So I'm just going to turn these over. This is quite a rustic flatbread. It's not made with yeast. It's made with yogurt and flour. And again, I'll share the recipe at the end of the video post. Just turn these over now like this. But I love this griddle here on top of the stove. And the whole point is we're creating this dining in evening where you don't have to go out and you can impress your friends and family with actually cooking a lovely curry feast for the dining in. So let's have a look here, just a little bit longer on there, but it'll take about 3 to 4 minutes either side, and we'll be able to serve these with the curry and the rice, and it'll be something nice to dip into all those lovely juices. So here we are. The curry's been simmering for 25 to 30 minutes. I'm going to remove the lime halves, as I told you before. I just added them in there for extra flavour. And as you can see, it's a beautiful colour, perfectly cooked, and will make a fantastic dining in recipe for Vegetarian Week this week. So here we have it, lovely aubergine and tomato curry, already cooked. And down here, we have the most amazing quick Indian flatbreads. So easy to make, and look at that fabulous texture inside. Just melt in the mouth. And of course, we've got some lovely wholemeal rice as well. All cooked on top of my Richmond Deluxe STOVES range. Very easy, great heat reduction. And for these little sort of Indian flatbreads, I love the griddle function that I have on top as well. It's just such a great way to cook bread and make pancakes, all sorts of things. You can also cook breakfast on there as well. Okay, so look at this, an absolutely fantastic dining in curry. Vegetarian, it's also vegan as well actually. Served with quick Indian flatbreads. Just give a little sprinkle of fresh coriander on top, like so. And then you've got all of this gorgeous flatbread to be dipping into the sauces. So easily made on my Richmond Deluxe STOVES range. Fabulous meal. Why bother to reach for the phone for a takeaway when you can do this at home? And really from start to finish, including prep, this took about just over an hour, a little over an hour. That included everything, chopping all the vegetables, sort of making the dough and what have you for the flatbreads. So going to really enjoy this in Vegetarian Week this week as well.